Hello everyone, in this video we're going to learn about SI based units, derived units, as well as English units. We're also going to learn how to convert them to one another using one or multiple conversion factors. You may already know there are 7 main SI base units by reading the textbook. Those are the ones you can see on the screen, but the most common ones are time, length, mass, thermodynamic, temperature, and amount of substance. You probably are very familiar with the units of the first 4, but amount of substance might be a little new to you. Unit for that is mole. 1 mole of anything is 6.022 times 10^23 of that thing. It's also known as the Avogadro's number. What does that mean? If you have 1 mole chairs, you have that many chairs. If you have 1 mole of chlorine molecules, you have that many chlorine molecules. It is also important to know or to be familiar with or even memorize the prefixes used to aggrandize or minuscule a number. For example, a kilogram is 1,000 grams, whereas a milligram is 1,000th of a gram. Why are these 7 units called the base units? Because these units cannot be broken down into simpler units. These are the simplest units, but you can mix, you can amalgamate, combine, or distort these units to represent new units, which could report new figures of merit. For example, volume is a derived unit because it's meters cubed. It is a basic unit cubed. Frequency is the reverse time. So if the unit for time is seconds, the unit for frequency is times reversed. Seconds reversed. Velocity is the change in distance or like distance traveled over time, so in meters over second. Velocity is another example of derived units. Change in velocity or acceleration is another derived unit, which is the derived unit of a derived unit. So you can imagine that there's an infinite number of units that you can derive by mixing and matching or distorting the base unit. There's also the English ladder, which is different from the SI units or the metric units. For example, if the SI unit for length is meter, for English that is mile, or if the SI unit for mass is grams, for English, the English counterpart is pounds, and there's all sorts of conversion factors that connect the two. They are usually provided to you in an exam, but I suggest memorizing the ones on the screen. Now let's test ourselves to this and determine which of these are base units, which are derived units, and which of them are English units. So 1.5 gallon. Gallon is an English unit. We already know that. Kilograms multiplied by meters over seconds squared. That is the combination of a few base units, so that makes it a derived SI unit. There is Kelvin. Kelvin is the the SI unit, which is also known as the absolute temperature. It is important to know the difference between Kelvin, Celsius, and Fahrenheit, and how you convert them to one another. And finally, we have seconds reversed. Again, as I mentioned in the previous slide, seconds is a base unit, but seconds reversed is the distortion of a base unit, which makes it a derived unit. How do we convert one unit to the other? Well, for every unit conversion, you need a conversion factor. It's the equation that connects the convertee unit to the converted unit, to the undesired unit to the desirable unit. For example, in this question, we're converting centimeters to meters. What is the relationship between the two? 1 centimeters is 10 to negative 2 meters. That is the conversion factor. You're going to multiply, whenever you're converting, you are multiplying the convertee by a fraction. That fraction is the conversion factor that has been fashioned into a fraction with the desired unit portion on top and the undesired unit portion in the bottom. So we're multiplying the convertee, which is in this case 2.42 centimeters, by a fraction. That fraction houses the 10 to negative 2 meters on top and 1 centimeter in the bottom. Again, this is your conversion factor fashioned into a fraction. The reason centimeter is placed in top, so centimeters can cancel out, and you're going to be remaining with meters. Meters would remain. So after doing the math, you get the new value, the intended value, with the desired unit. Now, sometimes there would be more than one conversion to be done. The method stays the same. If you're multiplying it, if you're converting more than one unit, or you're converting using more than one conversion factor, you're going to have to do it one step at a time. For example, in this question, we're converting first grams to kilograms and second milliliters to liters. So we have to establish a conversion factor for each of those. 1 kilogram is 10 to 3 grams, and 1 milliliter is 10 to negative 3 liters. So the convertee gets multiplied by the first fraction, which houses 1 kilograms on top and 1,000 grams in the bottom. That way grams cancel out. Then you're not done yet because the milliliters are still there. So then you multiply the convertee by the second conversion factor that now has milliliters on top and liters in the bottom. Why? Because in your original value, your original unit, milliliters is in the bottom. So you have to offset that with a conversion factor that houses 1 milliliter on top. That way milliliters cancel out. All you are left with is now kilograms over liters. So you do the math in one pot, and at the end, you have the intended value with the proper unit. If you want to test yourself, I suggest you do the following conversion. Now you are converting a English unit to a base unit, and then a derived unit to a main unit, or a prefixed unit to a main unit. The method stays the same. You identify the conversion factors. It's oftentimes given to you, even if you're doing it during an exam. There's an equation sheet that houses these conversion factors. So you establish those, you seek those out, and you establish them for yourself, and then you carry out the conversion by multiplying the convertee to every conversion factor, one conversion factor at a time. The answer to this question could be found at the end of the slide deck that is provided to you. Thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video.